What's going on, guys? Welcome back to the channel. I am getting ready to start building the Yokomo YD-2S Plus kit that I picked up to go drifting at Tandem RC. I figured this would be a good time to kind of show you guys how I prep all the carbon fiber parts when I get a new kit. Before I build the kit, I always like to prep them, kind of seal the edges with some CA glue. Kind of just keep them from delaminating over time. You start hitting stuff with the sides of them and start nicking them and they can kind of delaminate themselves. So this is just going to be a little prep work on the carbon fiber, kind of just make them last a little longer, just make them a little bit more durable. What you're going to need for this is you are going to need some CA glue. This is from Bob Smith Industries, the stuff I'm using. This is their medium. You can use stuff like tire glue, thin or medium. Just keep in mind that the thinner you go, the more runny it's going to be, so the more likely you are to spill over the edges of the carbon and get CA glue all over the good looking part of the carbon. What I had was medium, and that's what I'm going to use. It's still going to do a good job of sealing it up and everything. And then I like to use an X-Acto blade to spread it along the edges of it. I'll kind of show you that. And then just have a paper towel handy in case you do get a little run or something and you need to kind of get it off the sides. So I have already done the main chassis plate here. I went around the edges and did everything on this, so it's got a nice bead along the edge here, as well as I did the larger cutouts. So the two in the back and the one in the front there, I just did around the edges of that. But that's basically what we're gonna do, is we're just gonna go around the edges and get that all prepped and sealed up. So this is something I like to do before I build the kits, get all the carbon pieces out of there. That way we can get them all sealed up and prepped, as well as, you know, if you're replacing a carbon part for a new part and you want to do this to kind of seal it up. This is going to be a little bit probably more beneficial on like the off-road side, especially on like shock towers, where you're flipping the buggy upside down or something and you're running the carbon piece right into the dirt. This is going to help the longevity with that. Figured I'd take you along for the ride and show you how I get it all prepped. So we've got the rear shock tower here. This is the only other part in the kit that is carbon fiber. So we are just going to go along the outer edge of this and do a nice bead of CA glue along the edge there. And this is what you want to keep in mind, is this is just going to be really thin. You don't need to put a lot on there. So I'm going to kind of show you how much I do and how I work it in with the blade. But basically you've got your CA glue. And we're not going to cake it on there. We're just going to do a few drops every so often, and that'll allow us to spread it and run it in with the X-Acto blade. So you can kind of use the edge of the blade as a paintbrush. You can see how you can just kind of run it along and paint it on there, and you can see how far one drop really spreads. I actually probably put a little bit more than I needed on for the section that I'm doing. But you can see how you can kind of just paint it and run it along. The more you put on, the more likely you are to spill over the sides and get runs. So keep that in mind. Just take your time, do small sections at a time, and you can kind of just paint it on there. And then when I'm done with each section, I like to look at the face of it and see if I got any bleeds, which I did. You can see some bubbling on there because, like I said, I put a little bit more on than I needed. But you can just take a clean part of your rag and kind of go upwards on it, so you're not moving it down onto the face, but you're moving it away up to where the glue was. And that'll kind of clear that up a little bit. Just try to keep the runs to a minimum, because this will decolor the carbon a little bit once it dries, and also it makes it more prone to you getting your fingers in it. And then once you get your fingers in it, you start touching the carbon, you're gonna have fingerprints of CA glue all over the carbon. So keep that in mind. Just do small sections at a time though, like I said, and then especially when you're getting onto the bends like this, you're getting into the curves and the little short runs. Doesn't take much. You can kind of put one drop here and then use your blade and just work it into each corner and each bend, and you can see how far that one drop went. And then you can kind of rotate it. Some of these smaller parts are going to have not much surface area to get your fingers on. But just do your best to keep your fingers out of the CA glue so you're not getting fingerprints all over the part. That's definitely what we don't want. And then as far as the blade goes, I mean, I'm using an X-Acto blade. This is an old blade in it. It doesn't have to be a new blade. You're not making any nice, clean, fine cuts. You're just kind of using it to spread the CA glue. So if you got an old blade in there that's, you know, past its prime for cutting stuff, it's perfect for this situation. So you don't have to get a new blade all gunked up with the CA glue. You can save those for when you need to make some cuts and do some actual blade work. So I'm going to go around the edge of this, get this all worked in, and we'll show you the end result. All right, that rear shock tower is just about drying up. You can still see some glossiness to it. The CA glue hasn't fully cured on it, but we got the chassis plate done a while ago. This one's pretty much done. It does leave kind of a nice little sheen to it, but this one's all sealed up and ready to go. You can do multiple coats of this if you want. Just keep in mind that you want to do the thin coats like I was showing you earlier. That way you're not getting any major runs or anything, and it's also making it easier for the coats to dry. You go really thick, this stuff starts to kind of gel up a little bit before it dries, and it just takes a while. So it's kind of like painting the bodies for these cars. You just want to do multiple thin coats if you're going to do multiple coats. Otherwise, I mean, realistically, you are good with the one coat. I used the medium glue, so that's a medium thickness. You can do a thinner glue if you want. The thinner glue will have more tendency to run, but it also has more tendency to get in between the layers of the carbon and kind of do maybe a little bit better job of sealing it up. But I got the thin coat of that medium on here, and that is going to be good to go. So like I said, I am getting ready to assemble this YD-2S Plus kit from Yokomo. Getting ready to hopefully get out to Tandem and take it drifting. I've been wanting to do this for a while, so I'm excited to start the build on this kit. Hit that subscribe button so you can stay tuned for all that content. And yeah, I'm gonna do some build series videos with it. I kind of have an idea of how I want to break it down and what I want to feature in some videos and all that. But other than that, we got all the carbon fiber prepped, and this is applicable to any of the carbon fiber pieces you're using within the hobby. So this is just a great way to seal it up and help the longevity of the part, and kind of keep it from starting to separate the layers and stuff over time. So there you have it. All the carbon fiber is sealed. I know I have done a video doing this stuff in the past, but it's been a while, so I figured I'd take you along for the ride this time and kind of just do a fresh video on sealing and prepping the carbon fiber parts. So I hope you enjoyed the video. If you got any comments, go ahead and leave them down below. Any questions, you know me, I get on top of answering them. So leave any questions you have down below, hit that like button, hit that subscribe button, and as always, I will see you in the next one.